Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another exploration, and today I'm in Nottinghamshire and by a dirty great big pile of coal. That's because I've come somewhere very special. Come with me. We're going to meet Ashley Smart, who is the manager of the Papplewick Pumping Station. Hello, Ashley.
Hiya.
You very kindly have allowed myself and my wonderful viewers to come in and have a look at your incredible pumping station, which is, where are we in terms of Nottinghamshire?
Yeah, we're just 8 miles just north of Nottingham.
And we've got a great big pile of coal, as I mentioned at the top there behind you, because the pumps that we're going to look at use this old fuel that's now harder and harder,
Yes, yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
to get hold of for yourself.
Getting rarer and rarer, yeah.
And I just off before we filmed, you told me you could get it from all sorts of different places, including Russia.
Russia we've had it from. This here is from Scotland. Originally it would have been from Limby, which is just 2 or 3 miles away. So.
Yeah, so much easier in the old days.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, we're here to see your furnaces and pumping and all of that. So you've got this brilliant Victorian building behind us, and of course the Victorians, they never did anything just ramshackle, did they?
No, it's on a grand scale. And
Yes.
this building in particular is in a Gothic revival style of architecture, which was very popular in the 1880s. And it's what you got to bear in mind is, Richard, no one was meant to be coming in to look at any of this.
I know, that is the most staggering thing.
Yeah.
And yet it's so beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, it's completely different to what we do nowadays.
Yes. Shall we go in and
Yes.
have a look?
Yeah.
I'll follow you
Thank
if
you.
that's
Come on.
okay. Through these very large arch doorways, and immediately we are propositioned almost by these great big objects. What are we looking at, Ashley?
What we have here is a range of 6 boilers. 3 would have been in use at any one time. We only use 1 now because we're not pumping any water. But they've been running day and night, providing the steam to drive the pumping engines, which brought the water up to the surface.
So we're talking about, this is water down in the aquifer, some feet below.
Yes, about 200 feet or 60 metres down in the ground through the sandstone rock being brought to the surface and then going to a reservoir and providing people in Nottingham with water.
And this must have been quite a revolution at the time. We're talking 1880, aren't we?
1880s, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before that, the smaller pumping stations started off right in the centre of Nottingham, but as demand for water increased,
Yes.
they spread further and further out to bring more water into the town.
Because of course there was that whole building phase of building houses like nobody's business in the mid 1800s.
Yeah, and the thing was, all those houses were all back-to-backs, very poor sanitation, and so cholera was rife because people were drinking dirty water.
Yes.
And people didn't understand why they were getting ill. They didn't think it was in the water, bizarrely.
No, it's strange.
They thought it was other things, miasmas in the air and stuff. But eventually, they realised it was dirty water. They needed clean water, and the only place in this area where they could provide that was down in the ground through the sandstone. And the sandstone was rather like a sponge. It absorbs the rainwater, and as it passes through the little holes, it naturally filters and cleans the water.
Yes. It's incredible. So to get that out and to bring it up here, and so you can then deliver it to all the different places, you need pumps.
Yeah, and a big well.
And a big well. And so, because we're going to look at the pump side in a minute, but just tell me more about these incredible boilers, because these are man-fed, aren't
They are, yeah, no automatic feeders or anything. It's purely the stokers throwing in the coal with their shovels.
So the coal's coming from out there.
From the big pile we saw outside
Yes.
to where we're standing, then you're shoveling it again into the furnaces, and they're at quite an awkward height. They're sort of a lower chest height, so you have to stand back a little way to shovel it in, and of course you can see that the hole isn't particularly that big to throw your coal in.
No, I imagine you get quite skilled and practiced at this. When you're doing it.
It was more than just, we'll just throw it in.
Yes.
You had to layer it across the furnace so you didn't choke the oxygen and everything.
And that's a process that was just constant. It wasn't like, shove it in, go and have a cup of coffee.
Oh no, no, you were pretty much all the time.
These poor stokers, they must have been very fit.
It was pretty energetic, and their backs must have ached after a session.
And hot.
Very hot. We once put a thermocoupler in there, and it registered 1,000 degrees.
Good God. 1,000.
Yeah.
So now we should explain. You've got 6 here.
We do. Yep.
And you run.
We only run one now,
Right.
because we're not pumping water. But when the station was in its heyday, it was 3 boilers at any one time, and they also had to have changeovers so to give 3 of the boilers a rest. So there would be one occasion where all 6 boilers would be being stoked at the same time, getting the other 3 ready.
Imagine that.
I wouldn't want to have been on the night shift when it was just one stoker
Yes.
on his own.
No wonder you've got high roofs in here to let the heat dissipate as
Yeah.
much as it could, and then windows which open, of course.
Yes, yeah, to vent as much of the heat as they can and let in as much light as possible as well. But it was one of those jobs that, although it was dangerous, here at Papplewick, the stoker got their own little house.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so they and their family could live on site.
Oh, on site, yes.
So there was method in this madness,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
the idea was then there was no excuse that you couldn't come in to do your shift.
Yes.
You know, oh, it's snowing, I can't walk in. No, you're only over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did it come about? Whose was it, this pumping station?
It was the first station to be built by the Nottingham Corporation. Previous to that, it was privately owned organisation called the Nottingham Waterworks Company.
Right.
The council then undertook the provision of Nottingham's water, and this is the first station that they built, and work started in January 1882.
And here we are now, and you open it up to the public, like myself, and
Yes,
loads
yeah.
of other people, so
Yeah.
do come and check it out, and they can actually see it in operation.
Yeah, we do 8 steam events per year, so you can see everything running how it would have been, seeing the coal being fired, the engines running.
Wow,
So.
that's exciting. Should we go
Yes,
past them? Because these are long cylindrical boilers. And so it's not just about the coal going in, you've got water that's providing the steam.
You're trying to imagine them as very long kettles on their side, basically.
Yes.
And they're collecting, as the water's being boiled, steam is being collected in the top half of the boiler. And because it has nowhere to go, that's where the pressure builds, and it's going to provide the energy to drive the engines.
Yes.
When that moment is reached, you can release the valves and the steam will expand and then drive the engines through there.
And so the steam's going through these grey tubes that we see
through these
here
pipes, through the wall.
at huge pressure.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah.
And then through this door, we come into the real pumping area, which is completely different and just so beautiful as well.
Yeah, it's not what you expect for a utility building. Which
No.
At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
and you
no
just
more
wouldn't
than
get that now. You
No.
just wouldn't get that now.
The modern building on site is literally a little box.
Yes.
With no architectural
The
merit to
minimum,
it at
just
all.
utilitarian, and away you go.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, just these columns here holding up what must be a lot of weight above us.
Yeah.
With their capitals up there. With what are they?
They are Egyptian ibis.
Oh wow!
And there was a lot of interest in Egyptian mythology in the 1880s. And ibis was seen in Egypt as symbols of good fortune in regards to water.
I see. Right.
So
Well, that makes sense
yes.
then.
Yeah.
So when you come in, we've actually, let's just go back a bit, because you go past these 2 cylinders which
Yep.
are clad in wood.
Yeah, this is Spanish mahogany.
Oh wow!
And the steam is coming into the cylinders, and the energy of the steam is pushing the piston up and down, which is attached to the beam, and is just making the beam rock like a big seesaw. And that's pushing the pump rod down into the well and bringing the water up.
And that, as we said, is a long way down in the
Oh
aquifer.
yes, yeah.
But to drive that, we come over to these flywheels, and they're just quite small little lightweight flywheels.
20 tons.
20 tons.
Yeah.
Look at those. They're
Yeah.
just amazing. Whizzing round. Well, not whizzing.
Well, they're going at a pace,
Yes.
you know, maybe 20, 24 revolutions a minute, and just ensures that the engine stays at a constant speed, doesn't run away with itself.
Yes.
When the engine was running, because a lot of people say, oh, it must be very noisy. And the main noise would actually have been the water as it was coming up, the big whooshing noise as the water came to the
Yes.
surface. But you can pretty much talk as we're talking now. It's not deafening or
No,
anything
I mean,
like
I've been to the, and I've made a video at the bead giants down in Hastings, and they've had those operational. And when they're going, Yeah, there's a graceful sound to it, as everything is beautifully oiled, and it sounds really lovely, but it's not loud and deafening and anything like that.
It's quite hypnotic, and we've had visitors fall asleep. We found them on the sofa.
Yes. Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. Now, the interesting thing, these are huge objects. I don't know what the span is of that flywheel.
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's huge.
Huge. And so you told me, and what with these rods and everything else, the building was built at the same time that the engineering went in.
That's right. The only way you could do it was build the building and the engine at the same time, because the pieces are so huge, particularly the big beam, which we'll look at later. It's so long, so big. You couldn't put it in once the roof was on.
And it's stuck here now.
That's it. So all the repairs have to be done in-house.
In-house.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Should we go upstairs and have a look at that? So we're very privileged to come in about an hour or so before the great public come in. And so we've got this all to ourselves, which is fantastic. Wow, look at this. So we're now looking above those Spanish mahogany cylinders.
So this is what's known as the packing flat floor, and it gets its name because this is where you could change the gland packing on the tops of the cylinders, which ensures that the steam stays inside the cylinder. It's also where you could change a piston ring, and we actually have a spare piston ring propped up on the banister there. So they could do quite a lot of repairs on this floor. But it's quite a sunny day today, but often on a gloomy day, it does help give you an idea of how dark it would have been for the evening shifts.
Oh, right, of course.
Because electricity wasn't installed until the 1920s.
Oh, I see. So did they have gas or candle?
They had a few lamps. In the engine house, there's only 3 fixed lamps, and there isn't one on this section. So when you come up here, it's just you and your own little torch.
Gosh.
And on the upper floor, the beam floor, it was only what you took with you. So it must have been quite eerie in the night time when the engines were running in the dark.
Yes.
Not really being able to see them, and you were doing your little jobs in the dark.
Constantly on the go.
Yeah.
Wow, it is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it is.
We've got one more floor to go up.
Yes,
wow.
Yes.
And as we go up, we're just passing these very beautiful stained glass windows, which gives the place a sort of cathedral-like feel to it. And I know you said that the stained glass window came in really at the end with a little bit of extra money that they had spare.
That's right. Yeah, the project came in under budget. It should have been 56,000, but it came in at about 55,000. So with the money that they had remaining, the engineer, Mario Ogle Tarbotton, decided he would spend it on the stained glass windows, which is unheard of. He wouldn't do that today.
Oh, God, no.
It wouldn't be an under budget today either.
So here we're standing in front of, what do you call these?
These are the beams.
The
These
beams.
are the actual beams.
Yes.
Weigh about 13 tons or so.
Good God.
And these would have been installed just as this level of the floor was just being built.
And are these cast iron?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. In 2 sections, so they were bolted together. And
In situ, presumably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think they would have been done on the ground, and then a big winch would have lifted them up, and then it would have been put into place.
Right.
And dropped onto the bearings. And then when that was all checked and fastened together, then they would have carried on building the walls and then put the roof on the top. And then that was it.
And
they were in.
It. Yeah. Wow. Let's just move down here so we get the sense of the scale of them. I'm just walking on the floors there. The floors, of course, seem very well worn, and I'm guessing that's because of the amount of feet that have been going up and down.
Feet, and also I think probably some of the heavy things they've had put on over the years as well, I think.
Absolutely stunning. You've got a website.
We do, yes. It's papplewickpumpingStation.org.uk.
Easy to find. And so do check it out, and if you're in Nottinghamshire, it's certainly well worth making that diversion. I think you'll just have your mind blown away. On video, of course, we're not doing it justice, but it's so kind, Ashley, for you to let us in with our cameras. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, become a patron. Leave a comment. If you've been here before, let us know what you think. Tell your friends all about it. Till the next time, however, got to go. From Ashley and myself in Papplewick Pumping Station. Bye-bye. Thanks very much.